Yeah, yeah. 99. Very close. Alright, let's go check this place out. Oh, give me a sec. Alrighty. Woo! Alright. So close. So close to the hundy. Let's examine the body.
So, let's see what we have here.
Oh, she's dead for sure.
My God. Someone really did a number on her.
Edging the century.
They ripped open her entire belly. And they didn't stop
Daddy,
there.
chill.
There must have been buckets of blood. Jesus Christ. There's hardly any blood left in her. The place I found her must look like a slaughterhouse. I should go there and take a look.
Examine her mouth. Giggity.
Her lips are bloody, but nothing more. Tongue still in place.
Blue popping through.
But if he killed her for blabbing, I reckon he'd have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't he? These are more like chops than cuts. Somebody must have taken a sword to her. Knife wounds would be smaller, and an axe would have made a bigger mess. But it couldn't have been a long sword. That would have been clumsy. It was something shorter and nimbler. God, that madman cut off both her breasts and bits of flesh. But what did he do with it all afterwards?
Cut off her tits, right.
Did he really keep all the pieces? Nobody could be that sick, could they? Her face is a little bruised and cut, but nobody cut her there. But she has a dark ring around her neck. Was she strangled?
Did
The
she?
murderer must have had pretty strong
Bit
hands.
gamey.
And her hair is all matted with blood and hacked off. Don't even know what colour it was.
Scalped her as well. That's wild as fuck.
Maybe there's something more to it. What if the murderer kept her hair like some kind of sick trophy? Just some scratches and bruises, that's all. The killer probably surprised her. She didn't even have time to defend herself. So,
Yo, why are those
the
feet be
murderer
looking
must
like
have
that
awfully
though?
strong hands,
Why
because
are
he
they
strangled her
in that
and left
kind
a
of-
dark ring around her neck. Then he took a short sword or saber
Looking
and
awfully
started
sus.
hacking at her. She's missing parts of her torso, but they aren't by the body. He also cut off most of her hair.
Yeah, I don't think he killed her because of Catherine.
Cut off her breasts, but left her tongue. Then left her lying there for all to see. To send a message, maybe? Or a warning. Only if it was a warning for telltales, he would have cut out her tongue or something, wouldn't
Keep
he?
saying that, Henry.
I don't know why he killed her, but I don't think it's because of Catherine.
Yeah, he'll just stand there. The old mate's just looking at her. He's looking at her. He's going, them feet though.
God be with you. What would you like?
You must be the local
We've
gravedigger.
met before.
That's right. They call
Stop
me
it.
František.
Get
At
some
least
help.
them that can speak do.
I'm Henry.
Greetings, Henry. What do you need?
That dead girl you have in the morgue. Alice.
You've seen her? Poor thing. Who could have done such a thing?
That's what I'm trying to find out. Do you know anything about her?
She's gone to meet her maker. What more do you want to know? You want to take away a piece of her?
Ooh.
Well, you can't. Not a hair off her head, a bloody scrap of cloth or a thumb. You hear?
I don't want to take anything. I need to find something out.
Like what exactly?
Who killed her?
Why?
I'm worried something might happen to my friend.
That's true. She wasn't the first, and we can only pray that she'll be the last.
She won't be.
It's true that Lumiere ain't shown no interest in her yet. I wouldn't expect that from him no more.
Who's this Lumiere? Another one of those gawkers and collectors?
No, no. He actually tried to help.
Help?
What do you mean?
How?
Well, he was investigating them others.
Right. You said she wasn't the first.
Aye. We had a couple of similar cases. Lumiere said they was all killed by the same murderer.
And who is this Lumiere?
He used to work for the local bailiff. I think he knew the first one what was killed, but that was a long time ago.
How many have been killed?
Do you remember how many girls were killed?
Oh,
You mean
35.
you don't know nothing about it? Here, even the sparrows are squawking about it.
I haven't been in Kuttenberg very long.
I see. There's been one every few weeks for the past year.
Fucking hell.
Do you know where the last one got killed?
I heard some talk about it when they brought her here. But what do you want to do there?
Oh,
Look
they've
for
been
clues.
dying every other week or so.
Footprints, blood,
Yeah.
anything.
That can help you.
No
That's
one's
worth a
saying
try.
anything, hearing anything.
I heard she was killed by the town walls, close to the Hole in the Wall, a dodgy tavern in the Hoprink
I know where
neighborhood.
that is, yes.
Thanks. What's this Lumiere got to do with this?
Well, like I told you,
Probably
he used to
Goliath.
work for the bailiff. I think he was a scribe.
A scribe keeps records in the Black Chronicle. Though I've never heard of one doing his own investigations.
Well, the old bailiff wasn't all that interested in the common folk. But Lumiere, he was quite helpful. Folk heard about it and went to him with whatever was troubling them.
I'd like to speak with Lumiere. Do you know where I can find him?
At his
Where
home
is
in
this,
Bohemia
buddy?
Street, that's near the church. You won't find him at the
Fucking
bailiff's no
Bohemia
more.
Street.
I don't know exactly why, though. Seems he had some quarrel with the bailiff.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's my pleasure. Especially, actually, wait a mo. Speaking of the living, there's a girl what comes here and grieves over that dead maid. I think her name is Barbara.
And do you know where I could find her?
She said she serves in one of the burgers' houses. So either there or in the morgue with that poor
She's like
dead
right
girl.
there.
Thanks again.
Master Gravedigger. Hello. Hello,
Are you
Barbara.
Barbara? I'm told you knew Alice.
Alice. Aye, she was almost like a sister to me. We served together for years, in the same house. Why'd you ask? Who are you?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her. I'm afraid the killer might want to go after my friend as well.
Ah, I understand.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant. He is trying his hand at trading wine.
How did Alice get along with your master?
Fine. Just like with everyone. Our master is a bit strict, but he's fair.
What's his name?
He only hits us
Can I
sometimes.
speak to him?
Why? But you can't see him anyway. He's on a trade trip to Prague.
It occurred to me that maybe he could have done it.
No, he couldn't. He was gone when it happened. He hadn't been home in several weeks. And besides, why would he kill them others too? He never even knew them.
I heard about that. And also about Lumiere.
Well, if you're interested, maybe you'll catch him sober enough to talk sense.
That was a plan.
Do you know of any suitors she might have had?
I know she was seeing someone. Why?
I'd like to talk to him as well.
But I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich and dressed nicely. But she promised
This is
him
where I
she'd
need
never tell
talk
anyone
with
his
dead,
name.
commune with
And
dead.
you never saw him?
No, never. I don't even know where she met with him.
Do you know what exactly happened to Alice?
So easy.
No. Nobody saw or heard nothing. One day, she just didn't come home. And then, they found her.
They found
Like this.
It's awful what they did to her.
She was such a pretty girl. And that beautiful brown
Yeah, that's exactly
hair of
right, Nev.
hers.
I'm just wasting my time.
And it didn't even leave that untouched. Who could have cut off her hair like that? And why? None of it makes sense.
So, I'll leave you to mourn in peace.
I'll leave you to mourn in peace now. Alright, Mutt, start digging up bodies. Let's go. Let's end her. For fuck's sake. It's this guy, isn't it? The fuck out
I'm
of the way.
sorry.
No, you're not. Get out of the way. I want to open the door. Alright, we started off with a main quest, and now we've just dived. Never want to you reunite him. Yeah, you miss your friend that much, huh? Fucking. Give her what for? Can I go through here? Thank you.
Lumiere?
Oh.
That's one way there. I've seen this
My head.
guy's face
Not
so
so
often.
loud.
I need to ask you something.
I said not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
That's some hangover. He's useless to me like this. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some
Yeah.
kind of cure or potion. This should sober.
Give him
Here.
marigold.
Drink up.
Drink this one,
Better?
buddy.
What? Who? What are you doing here? Who are you?
Hair
My
of
name
the
is Henry.
dog.
And what do
Hairy
you want
bacon
from
potion.
me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl. And I was sent to you.
To me? What for?
Are you Lumiere from the rat house? The scribe?
I used to be. Now I'm just Lumiere the madman.
You don't seem crazy to
Well,
me.
you don't look crazy.
But I am. I see things in my head that aren't real. And then I point my finger at the wrong people. I'm the biggest madman in Kuttenberg.
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You can't help that girl anymore, anyway. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumiere.
Poor girls. Nobody was all that interested in it, except for me. We let it be in the end. We let a monster walk among us. No way. You can't solve this yourself.
We need to prevent
I'm
more.
not doing it for myself. I'm afraid he might kill one of my friends.
Just
A
a bit of,
friend,
bit of cyber psychosis.
That's not good.
Bit of cyber
Not
psycho.
good at all. I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? Just mockery. What
Yep.
makes you think you can find out more than I did?
I'm not a fucking idiot.
Because I'm not stupid, and I notice things. I've successfully solved a murder before.
Is that so? A murder investigation under your belt? And educated?
I
and
can
observant,
read.
too.
Well, I said I'm not stupid. Not that I'm educated. I can read and write, too. Sometimes even count.
If only more people knew the
Fucking
difference.
hell.
All right. Talk to me. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was
Sometimes
Alice.
I
She
can
worked as a
read and
maid.
write.
A maid.
Sometimes I can
fits.
count.
Yarka was a maid too.
And 15 inches.
As were most of the other victims. What did she look like? What did he do to her?
I think that he strangled her first, and then went at her with a longer blade and disemboweled her.
Some Jack
Did
the
you
Ripper
notice the
shit.
strangulation right away? It took me a while. Maybe you really will track him down.
I
Heresy!
think it's the same murder.
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled and then mutilated. If it's not all the same person, they must be collaborating somehow.
This is the 6th one. How long has he been killing?
Probably
Yeah.
about a year now. Sometimes it takes him months, sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls, Stanya and Zdena.
Why are you counting the missing girls?
Why are you counting the missing girls?
Every time he
Because
gets
I
an
think
erection,
someone
just...
killed them, and we just haven't found them yet.
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background, no. I couldn't find much.
Do you think somebody is killing them
You
because
see,
they're
like,
poor?
just the blood just
and
start
nobody
to
will miss them?
drain as it
Certainly.
goes somewhere else instead.
Somebody killed the
Like a
daughter of a
battery
local lord,
losing
no
its charge.
stone would be left unturned.
But why does he even kill in the first place?
For the
I don't
excitement.
know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going in circles and can't get out.
Let me guess, they all have
What can you tell
brown
me
hair or
about
some shit.
Yarka?
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, people started
Almost.
taking an interest. She was a maid in a German family. By all accounts, she was a pious, polite girl. She was orphaned as a child. The priest from the Church of St. Peter and Paul, Father Prokop, raised her. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut all the way
Whoa.
from her neck downwards. An awful
Try to
sight to
butterfly
behold.
her.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. A murderer is usually someone close, you know. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the two girls before her who ended up almost the same. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, he seemed he wasn't the least bit interested in Yarka. Then his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of the night.
Oh,
It really
okay.
surprised me, because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation. But who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
Stanya.
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse wench in a tavern of ill repute called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out of town.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Only there was a lot of blood. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own, and the people there
Yes, the
aren't very
Hole is a world
forthcoming
of
with
its own.
information.
Did you suspect
100%.
anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but thievery and deceit in their eyes. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him. But he isn't all that chatty either.
So if I want to learn anything more, I have to ask this mole in the hole.
Yeah. He still runs
Talking
the
about
place.
6 murder victims makes a little bit of a tee-hee joke.
And what about that Zdena?
Fuck's sake.
You said her body was never found.
Exactly. But to tell the truth, nobody spent much time looking for it.
No one
Besides
gave a
Alice,
fuck.
Zdena was the most recent victim. It's only been a few weeks since she went missing, but I suppose nobody wanted to do any more digging.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Maybe the prettiest of them all.
Same
Young,
type?
beautiful. A real live one. Lively as the devil. She was a thief. A pickpocket. I never could pin it on her, though. She always found some way to get out of it.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Strunad. Quite a number. He's always sitting in the hole, boozing. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth a try. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory. That would be a great help.
Really
And
does.
what about the other two victims?
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. The first one worked as a bathhouse maid. They called her Chestnut. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really knew her. So I couldn't find out anything more. But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She was a maidservant, too. I also talked to her mother. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling around her, but she refused them all. She knew she was pretty, and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean she wanted someone higher up?
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found out who she had her eye on.
Interesting. I'll try to see what else I can find out from the mother. Where can I find her?
In the graveyard, lad. The poor woman died of grief. It's sad to say, but we can't help those two dead girls now. And they can't help us with our investigation either. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about them.
Okay, now.
Why were you looking into it? Who were those dead girls to you?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many long years I was a scribe for Kuttenberg's bailiff. Kuttenberg is a big city with a lot of people. Silver, silver, silver. Mining it, smelting it, stealing it. There's always something going on. The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades, from one rich man to another, settling their quarrels.
Interesting.
Often trivial nonsense.
But there are more than just rich burghers and lords in the city.
Exactly. There are common folk too. There's a lot more of them, and their troubles are usually more serious. So when one of them came to the bailiff's one time, and the bailiff was running around somewhere, I started to deal with it myself. I was pretty good at it too.
Behind the bailiff's back?
Not really. Andreas supported my activities until recently.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Sorry.
Did you have any suspects back then?
You can always find some suspect. I always dragged the most suspicious ones to the body in the morgue by force. And they threw up at the sight. Or fainted.
Couldn't it have just been an act?
Fainting? Vomiting? That's hard to act. I'd swear none of them did it.
Can you sum it all up for me?
We have
I
6
agree.
victims here. And I believe they were all murdered by the same killer. Unfortunately, we only know a little about the last 4. The most recent ones. By now, we won't learn anything about the first 2. Of the remaining 4, the first to be killed was the maidservant, Yarka. She was raised by Father Prokop from the Church of St. Peter and Paul. The next was Stanya. They both
Alright,
have, and the
cool.
last one, they all have...
We know all this, that's fine.
Good.
I'll listen to the
I know
rest
everything
of
I need to know.
When you learn something more, you've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad.
it.
I hope
Aroused.
you won't disappoint me.
Oh, yeah. I aroused him so much he started throwing up. Checks out. Alright, so that gag reflex, non-existent. So I need to go back, discover something about Yarka's background. Go to the hole in the wall. Well, we're already here, so we'll just go straight back across.
Not even fight. I've been taking lessons.
For fuck's sake. Climb, Henry, climb.
I'm sorry.
Could be.
They live in the next village over.
Father Prokop.
Day to you. What brings you here?
I mean, that's
Father,
that's.
I need to ask you a few
that's
questions.
fair. I think that's a good
I
idea.
don't have time for theological discussions, my son.
that's not why I'm here.
Theological
name's Henry.
discussions.
And I
You
wanted to
lost,
ask
brother?
about the murder that happened recently. Someone killed and gutted a young maidservant and left her body lying by the city walls. And I hear it's not the first time this has happened.
Another one murdered.
Another.
May the Lord grant her eternal rest.
Literally.
Why is it you ask?
I fear for my sister. She's also a maid.
Yes. Fear for those close to you
Yes.
is commendable.
Yes.
What would you like to hear?
One of the other victims was a girl named Yarka. But I reckon you know that, don't you? What can you tell me about her?
About Yarka. She was an ordinary girl. She served the von Grahl family.
Okay, where'd you know her from?
Where did you know Yarka from?
I knew her since she was a little girl. Knew her family.
And?
I was her uncle. When my brother and his wife died,
Right.
I took care of her.
Who do you think killed her?
William, that pig of Satan. He gambles in the tavern on All Saints' Day and leads the locals
Yeah,
astray.
let me taste your
Yarka
fear.
always went there to listen to music.
Why William?
Why do you think it was William? Do you have any evidence?
Evidence? He's a skirt chaser, a tool of Satan. He messes with poor girls' heads.
Good. Excellent.
And does anyone else come to mind? No other man spoke with her?
Fuck
No.
it, I would have.
Absolutely not.
Soulless ginger.
You raised her? A priest with a child?
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm not the first of the clergy to have a child on the side. But at least everyone knew
Child on the
Yarka
side
wasn't
sounds
my own
rough. Okay. What does a
No
priest...
offence, but how did you know what to do? Without a wife, without a family? I would have been lost.
I was a bit, son. When she was smaller, it was fine. But when she grew up,
What would a priest know what
Maybe
to do with children?
I was too hard on her.
Oh no. No, 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 no. Why do you think you were
Why
too
do you
hard?
think you were too
Was
hard
it
on her?
because she was too young?
Yarko was an orphan, with no family and no possessions. Her only chance of a good life
Clip it
was a
up.
good upbringing. And
Clip
then
her up.
a husband. But the more I led her in that direction, the more she resisted.
How's this helping me solve this problem? How's she rebel
How
against
did
you?
she rebel against you?
She wouldn't listen.
She got tattoos, bangs,
She ran away.
dyed her
She
hair.
ran around with all sorts. And how did it turn out? She died. And in sin. Such a disgrace.
Disgrace?
Disgrace?
Pissed in the church.
What the
Just
devil are you
fucking
talking
popped a
about?
squat.
She was pregnant. Even if she had lived, what then? Nobody would want to marry her anymore.
You're well off, though. Couldn't you provide for her?
I couldn't. Even if she had been my very own. More so, since she was my brother's.
But how come?
The church's property always remains the church's. They keep a close eye on that.
What if this is some weird thing where he's
How-
opening them up, like gutting them because he wants
How does that even
the
work?
baby?
Did you have her with you at the
Yeah,
presbytery?
he's just
When she was small,
he's learning how to do
I
it.
could.
He doesn't know yet.
But when she grew up, she had to go. It wouldn't look right.
Yeah, why don't you like Lumia?
Why don't you respect Lumir?
That's my business. You needn't concern yourself about that.
Fuck do you mean?
I won't tell you anything.
Get that 28.
But this is important. Do I look like someone who's asking out of curiosity?
All right.
Got her out the duff.
Lumir accused me of her murder.
What?
Yes. He slandered me in public.
And how... What happened then?
It turned out he was deranged. How could he even think such a thing? He's finished in Gutenberg.
I've heard enough, Father. I'll be going.
I've heard enough,
Son?
Father. You cracked.
I'll give you some good advice. Don't listen to Lumir. That man has gone completely mad.
Yeah, I agree. Can I search the church?
I'm sorry.
Okay, I can't get inside.
Empty pockets and a whole lot of gossip.
He's Franken sex doll. Yeah. He's just missing some tits and some hair. Alright, so you talk to these delinquents and see what we can figure out. And yeah. Getting quests done. Side questing, you know? That is fair.
Are you deaf? I'm not giving you a ten.
Oh.
Look, man, for the last time, hand it over.
I'm broke anyway.